Welcome back to Parnell Park for the second go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final. It is St Vincents against Na Fianna. A quarter-final is a big deal anyway, but Shane Stapleton, 5 times a county winner with Coola, it's even bigger when it's neighbours, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It matters that little bit more when you've got that little bitterness that you get between local rivals. But yeah, this could be a cracking game here. I'm certainly hoping it is. Na Fianna obviously came so close last year, left the county title behind them against Crokes late on. Obviously, huge credit to Crokes with the way they turned it around. And it's not so long ago we were here and we were watching St Vincents put up a very good performance against the county champions. So they probably feel they're not too far away. One of the big things, I suppose, is who actually starts for St Vincents today, because they didn't have Derek McBride in recent times. He hurt his hamstring, if I remember correctly, against Crave Kieran. He's a very important part of their defence. Tom Connolly was only able to come on the last day out. So actually Vincents, who went close against Crokes, still feel there's probably a little bit more in them. Whereas for Na Fianna, one of the big things with their sort of fluctuating form so far in the championship this year is they haven't had that heavy helping of Curry that they'd like to have in the team, with both Colin Curry and his brother Sean Curry not being available fully in this championship. So if the two of those lads can start today, if the two of the guys that I've just mentioned on the Vincents team can start, we could have an absolutely cracking contest.
Well, St Vincents have been very successful in football in recent years. Granted, they were relegated, but have the chance to bounce straight back up this year. They play Plunkets next weekend in a game you can see live on Dubs TV. The last time they won the Senior 1 Championship in football was 2017. The hurlers over the years have been successful. They have been dominant, but you have to go back to 1993 for the last time they won it. For Na Fianna, they've never got their hands on the trophy, and as you say, they came so close last year to the New Ireland Assurance Cup, but they have to bounce back. How important are the players you just mentioned there, Colin and Sean Curry? Sean hasn't been named to start. He may well play a part, whether or not that's from the start I don't know, but they were missing a couple of times this year, and you could tell.
Oh, you absolutely could tell. They just struggled to get the scores, and you know, if they're not available, AJ Murphy's going to have to do a bit of damage today. And Shane Barrett, he's against Coola, he went off as well, so obviously he was carrying a bit of a knock there. And Paul O'Dea, another Dublin panellist, he was excellent that day until he had to go off. I think he might have a wrist injury, so that's a huge blow to them. So to have those two Currys available would be massive. Sean scored, what was it, 7 points in the county final first half last year, and only one of those wasn't from play, and Davy Crowe went on him in the second half and did a great job of shutting him down. So you really need to plan for a player like that, especially if he's at the full of his health. But that's the thing, if these lads are only coming back and they're not fully fresh, it can take a game or two to get it right. But of course, when you're in a quarter final with skin and hair flying, you don't have time to just get yourself right. You have to hit the ground running. So look, we'll see what teams start here, but these lads are going to have to deliver. And Colin Curry, to be fair, he's done well with Dublin at times this year when he's appeared. He's definitely a forward inside that can do a bit of damage and could give someone like Mark O'Farrell a small bit of trouble back in there. But if Derek McBride starts for St Vincents, he's a huge addition. He's named at number 7, and Tom Connolly as well. He's got scores in him and he uses the ball very well.
Last time out against Kilmacud Crokes in a group match that, well, for Crokes didn't have a real significance, although you can say it did, because if they won that, they topped the group and went straight to the semi-final, which they did. John Heatherton got great change out of going into the square and winning the ball and scoring goals. Got a hat-trick that day. Do you think they could do something similar here? Will they do something? Well,
this is the thing now. If Na Fianna don't see that threat is going to be a big thing here today, then they'll deservedly end up losing the game, because any time a ball went into him, he was on probably a lighter lad than Brian Sheehy, and actually you can see straight away Na Fianna have planned for John Heatherton by putting Liam Rush full back on him. They're saying you're not going to beat us that way. So that's very interesting to see that's happening. And Keane McBride is starting for St Vincents. I can see that change straight away.
Well, here we go. The second quarter-final in the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. Na Fianna get the possession. Trying to squeeze through is Micheál Murphy. Wasn't named to start, but has. Ball squirts out, running after Rian McBride. Ryan, as he prefers to be called. Donald Burke.
And Sean Curry is starting for Na Fianna.
That's the least surprising thing team news wise this season. If Curry was available, he was always going to start. St Vincents have got it back. Pinged out here to Derek McBride, but he loses it. Now taking it back is Sean Curry. Sean Curry releases the shot. Sean Curry hits the first wide.
Donald Burke does this very well and has done for Dublin in the past year or so. Of course, I'm after cursing him there as well. Brilliant hook by Alan Moore, who's a great runner with the ball.
Ryan McBride, when he turns it on, he's one of the best in the country, let alone county. McBride floating in. It was a tough shot from a tough angle. He was absolutely surrounded. It's a wide. One wide apiece.
Yeah, and one of the things I was thinking today is that maybe Liam Rush would play centre back and Ryan McBride would look to run off him and sort of drag him around the place as Colin Cronin did in a previous game. But it's actually Conor McHugh picking him up, and obviously the Rush change inside, going full back on John Heatherton.
Tom Brennan tries to find AJ Murphy inside. Andrew James Murphy to give him his full title. Shane Barrett, another man who's worn the colours of Dublin. Shane Barrett. That drops kindly for the keeper.
Yeah, that's 2 missed shots already for Na Fianna. Here we go, this is what we wanted to see.
Heatherton battling against Rush. Vincents trying to keep it alive. A big shoulder in there from Liam Rush, and then collected by Sean Burke.
No mean feat to knock over Keane McBride. He's a sturdy man.
Micheál Murphy. Tracy. He could go for it from here. Juggled it a bit, got it under control, goes for a diagonal ball as opposed to a shot.
It's a good ball.
A really good take. Trying to shrug off his man is Sean Curry. Gets it off to AJ Murphy. AJ Murphy didn't catch it right at all.
Yeah, again, that's a third missed attempt for Na Fianna, and you want to get on the board good and early, especially if you have nice chances here. And Simon Gormley is another change, so there's been plenty of changes on both teams before the start of the game.
Simon Gormley, such a strong hurler, such a skillful hurler, generally plays around the full back line, but as you can see, loves to get forward. Was away working in Galway earlier in the year. He's back now. That's a second wide for St Vincent's. Being back around the club, I'm sure that's sharpened up his touch that bit more.
Yeah, I think he wanted to give the ball off, but he spilled it for a second, and then John Heatherton was probably too close to collect it off him and forced into a shot, and he probably didn't want to have to take it on.
Colin Curry gets it backwards to Micheál Murphy.
Very congested, that middle area. Both teams looking to win the game on their terms.
Sean Stack tried to let it go, but he couldn't. There was a foul. It's a free for Na Fianna.
That's good. From a Na Fianna point of view, both Currys have been in the game already. Obviously, Sean Curry missed a chance early on, and then he set up another chance for AJ Murphy, and there's Colin. He got onto a ball earlier and wins a free there. So I'm sure the management team for Na Fianna will be very pleased to see those two boys making an impact.
Donald Burke, such an integral part of this Na Fianna setup. Burke lets that one fly, and we have our first score of the game.
Yeah, when Donald Burke's on a going day, he rarely misses. I mean, once or twice maybe the frees will go against him. I remember the quarter final against Jude's last year when he had a difficult day as it went on, but generally he shoots the lights out.
Micheál Murphy. It's flicked on. It's flicked on to a yellow jersey as opposed to a white and blue one. The shot coming from Colin Curry, and it drifts. There is a bit of a breeze. It's not a straightforward one as well. It's kind of going across.
Yeah, it's like a 20% scoring efficiency so far from Na Fianna to just have 1 point, and Conor Burke did well to get back and put Colin Curry under pressure, but they can't keep missing chances like this.
Heatherton chasing after it. Lets it off for his teammate who's trying to take and turn. Gets his shot away. This would be some score if it was to go over. And it does. Magnificent. Yeah,
that is magic from Keane McBride. He's a great set of hands on him, and physically inside you can see that St Vincent's want to make an impact with having Heatherton and McBride, and the way that ball carried through, Dermot Clerkin should have been able to cut it out but didn't.
Oisin Lanigan turns into trouble, tries to get away. He does really well, gets it to Derek McBride. Spill, but luckily for Conor Burke, spill to his teammate. Burke gets it back. I think it was Thomas Connolly. Connolly onto it again. Connolly so strong.
Not sure why Connolly didn't take that on himself. Maybe he would have preferred to shoot off the other side, but a strange one to go back there when he had open country.
Helped on to Feeney. Rush. Great block down, really good work by Ryan McBride, but Rush got it back. Doesn't give up on anything, does he? Conor McHugh helped it on to the run of Sean Curry. Curry wide, and again, a fourth wide for Na Fianna.
You'd be pulling your hair out if you were the Na Fianna management. I mean, why he doesn't turn and run that ball in and make it an easy score, I don't know.
McBride, Ryan this time. That's a fantastic score, his first.
That's simplicity. I mean, to have one score out of six opportunities so far for Na Fianna, and then Vincents turn around and do that. It's just so frustrating. I haven't seen Sean Baxter so far, so I'm wondering, has he not started for Na Fianna? I'll keep looking around.
Well, there's been a lot of changes to the team that was named. Now, in fairness, you have to hand in that early enough in the week, I think, so that's why there's probably a few changes, and they would have also had a few guys maybe that they were watching out injury wise for.
Yeah, he's such an important player though, so if he's look, we don't see him out there, so if he's not available to play any part today, that is definitely a big blow for Na Fianna, who at different times this year have been missing an awful lot of players from last year's county final.
And hope not to miss an opportunity here. Murphy, Colin Curry has Murphy outside, AJ Murphy that is. Curry still going, weaving his way through. Got it out to AJ Murphy. Just a little bit too much on that, but it's stolen back wonderfully well by Micheál Murphy. Ran into trouble, still has the sliotar, recycles. Fenlon taps it over.
Yeah, that was great work there by Micheál Murphy, because you wondered had the chance gone, because the ball went in initially. AJ Murphy worked the ball back out. Wasn't a great touch by Shane Barrett, but eventually they got that score. Sorry, it wasn't Barrett who with the missed touch, it was Fenlon. But you thought the chance might be gone, and again was it a situation where all the great approach play for Na Fianna, nothing at the end of it, but no, they got the score.
Needing some treatment there is Micheál Murphy.
And so is Derek McBride. He's making his way out to the sideline with the physio. I mean, I look at Liam Rush playing full back, and you think it's probably one of the last places you'd expect to see him. But there is a needs-must scenario, because you look through the Na Fianna team and think who could potentially compete with John Heatherton in the air. He's one of those players that you can't get caught out in front of him and he'll jump over your back, but you just need to be able to compete in the air. Like, he's a huge man and he's good up in the air.
Murphy, the physio, heading off. She actually plays camogie for St Vincents, the physio for Na Fianna.
It's like Tom Burke is on perhaps a temporary substitution for in place of Derek McBride.
Depora went to Coloshdone, where his dad Prunchius is the principal. Prunchius obviously the manager of St Vincent's, who have won the ball back really strongly. The shot released by James Mulcahy, who sends it over.
That's lovely, winning those ruck balls again. We said it in the first game earlier on today between Ballyboden and Lucan, and it's the same here. I mean, all hurling match, you need to be able to win those ruck balls and compete, and Derek McBride is coming straight back in,
which Vincents will be glad of. Sean Burke intercepted Burke. It breaks back for him. Still can't get it under control. Vincents have won it back through John Heatherton. Trying to dig it out is Peter Feeney. Feeney kicks at it, miscues. Luckily for him, Fenlon was there. Fenlon using his strength. Fenlon getting it away to Micheál Murphy. Micheál Murphy somehow got it to Sean Curry, who somehow took it. Curry goes for the pass. AJ Murphy in space, out in front. Murphy. It's a difficult skill to execute while jumping in the air, striking a ball, but he did it. Good score by AJ Murphy, his first. Yeah,
really nice work initially by Peter Feeney in terms of the turnover, and then Sean Curry working the ball up the field. He knew what sort of a ball AJ Murphy would appreciate and gave it into him.
Is this one going all the way over? No, it's not. A third wide for St Vincent's.
Yeah, it's all well and good taking on shots from distance, but you have good players inside in Keane McBride and John Heatherton. You nearly need to let the ball in.
Well, he still can. Sean Burke bouncing it off the turf. It's a skill that gets increasingly difficult as we move further in towards winter. The sod's still in very good condition though in Parnell Park, as Conor Burke takes the sliotar.
That was good work from Mark Sweeney to spoil Donald Burke, and he's coming out with the ball as well.
Cushion forward by Mark Sweeney. Intercepted well by Liam Rush. Him and Hedgehoe having some battle.
Yeah, Rush used the body well just to nudge Hedgehoe before the ball came.
Feeney looking for Colin Curry, who has got it. He's got AJ Murphy in front. Vincents have a man down. Colin Curry takes his goal really well.
Beautiful,
But I
beautiful
wonder, will it
finish.
be allowed, because Vincents have a man down. The green flag is being raised. That means it is a goal.
Yeah, Sean Stack is going in for a word just to see what happened, but what a beautiful crossfield ball that went in there in the first place after Rush had initially beaten Hedgehoe to the ball at the top end of the pitch. Beautiful ball in, and as Curry was going through, you wonder if he took too much of it.
Well, let's have a look. Simon Gormley was down throughout all of that play, so we mightn't necessarily see what happened to him, but let's see if this replay gives us some indication.
Great
The goal
ball by
stands
Feeney.
anyway, off camera, the green flag being raised.
Yeah, Gormley was going after AJ Murphy, and then he seemed to go on the ground, so I don't know, was there a bit of, were they entangled?
Well, I think he was down and then got up to try and dive after him, so he was down before that.
Well, was it a case that maybe he was they were tangling together? There was a bit of a snig when they were both kind of entangled with each other.
Sorry, a bit of a what?
A schnig.
Is that a Tipperary word?
It's a bit of a Tipperary.
Okay, I thought so.
So maybe he just got it in a sensitive area and tried to get back up again when he saw that Curry was coming through.
Yeah,
but
because he was down and he popped back up, and he might have been better off staying. Easy to say that if someone's running at you and you're in front of goal.
Yeah, I think you have to just try and get back up if you can. But that goal has gone in. What a finish from Curry, and it shows what they've been missing this year.
Morehouse Carroll. Burke. That's risky enough, but it's a risk that pays off. Driving it long, Derek McBride looking to respond immediately. He has a good score by Derek McBride.
Yeah, that's something we saw earlier this year against Craig Kieran before he went off injured. I was wondering, is it always going to be smart to take on those long range shots? They've missed one earlier on in the game, but look, when you're accurate you can't complain.
Lanigan sweeps it forward. Heatherton into the path of James Mulcahy. No, that's drifting wide. A fourth wide for Vincents.
And great tackling there from Na Fianna. Would have been so easy for someone to leave the hand in over the shoulder or give away a free, but good discipline and force Mulcahy. If you get the score, you get the score, but we're going to make you work hard for it, and it went wide, so Na Fianna got their reward.
What a catch that is from Donald Burke. This game is warming up nicely, isn't it?
It certainly is. He played the hand nicely of Mark Sweeney just before he caught it. It's a lovely little skill if you can get away with it, and Sean Stack didn't spot it. But you have to praise that bit of cuteness.
It was a bit of a miscue, the attempted crossfield ball.
But they do like to favour that crossfield ball. Sean Curry set up AJ Murphy earlier on. Obviously the goal came off the crossfield ball. It's just such a difficult one to defend against if you're that defender and the ball's been played outside you.
Regards to semi-finals, by the way, we don't know who'll play who yet. The draw will be made after this game, so keep an eye out on the social media channels. We'll update you as soon as we know, as soon as the draw is made.
Obviously we don't know who'll get through this game yet, but whether it's Ballyboden against Coola or Kilmacud Crokes, there's going to be skin and hair flying. It's going to be a cracker. But yeah, just coming back to the Liam Rush and John Heatherton, you wouldn't expect to see Liam Rush in the full back line. We've seen him be the firefighter for Dublin over the years, playing full forward, full back, centre back, midfield. Putting him back there full back, it's a bit like Aidan O'Shea going full back from Mayo at that time. It's a real needs must. You know, they had to stop Kieran Donaghy with a big man. A big man needs to be stopped here, so needs must.
And Na Fianna can't stop that one. Chipped over brilliantly. I think that was James Mulcahy. His second of the game. Stealing away with it, Shane Barrett. Murphy. Popped away by Conor Burke. De Puera. Goes racing out the goalkeeper. Has been on the extended Dublin panel. Launches it long. And it's wide. A fifth wide for Vincents. Those wides are beginning to mount up, aren't they?
It's a killer. I mean, when you have players inside waiting for the ball and you know they're talented and there's a reason they're in the forward line, let it into them.
Conor McHugh. Knocked off his stick. They try to get it back through Mulcahy. And it's a free in to Na Fianna.
I mean, Sean Sack looks fairly certain that was a pick up there. It's just it's a frustrating one. They'd done so well to turn over Conor McHugh, and then a little pick up, just gifting Donald Burke a gilt-edged chance here.
The playoff, the relegation playoff, is going to penalties. Crave Kieran 223, Plunkett's 223, the final score. We'll bring you the scoreline of the penalties and the result as soon as we get it. The strike from Donald Burke, which tailed off. That's a poor miss by his standards. A fifth wide, 5 wides each.
Yeah, clipped the post and wide. That was an opportunity to go 2 points ahead, and that's a poor one.
There's been a couple of drop shorts as well. Rush and Heatherton. Heatherton has got the break this time. Trying to shake off Rush. Has an option outside. Played it backwards brilliantly to Lanigan. Lanigan surely will just tap this one over. He does. His first of the game. Good score by Oisín Lanigan.
Yeah, and that high ball that went over towards Rush and Heatherton there a minute ago. Rush did get caught in front, and that's how he got bumped. And that's always the risk with Heatherton. Like, you obviously don't want to let him out in front to just catch the ball in front of you, but you certainly can't get caught in front because he'll get nudged, and he's turned inside you then. And really clever play to move the ball back across for Lanigan.
Good score by Lanigan, whose dad is the director of games at the club. Curry leaves it short. Lanigan, the man we just spoke about there, the former minor in Dublin, under 20. Does he fancy another goal? No, he's going to drop this in, looking for Heatherton. It's a good take. It's a good turn. It's a good shot.
And Lanigan mishit that ball, but it worked out quite nicely. And there's the downside of having someone who's naturally a centre back and, you know, probably been through plenty of injuries, Liam Rush, over the years, that when that ball is won by the full forward, somebody who can turn and shape one way, go the other, when you're not used to playing as a full back, it can be a difficult one for you, and Heatherton, no better man to expose it.
A really excellent response to the goal from St. Vincent's. They've got the last 4 scores in a row. McBride let it slip. Drops kindly for Tom Brennan. Curry, the goal scorer, flips it off for Donald Burke. Burke, good score from Burke from a tight angle. He's first from play, his second of the game.
Yeah, that's a thing of beauty there. Nice little ball across from Tom Brennan. Again, it was a nice little turnover as well, won by Conor McHugh beforehand on Ryan McBride, and then Curry with a lovely little switch off for Donald Burke to do the needful with a brilliant strike.
And we're all square again. Here's Ryan McBride, Oisín Lanigan. Nice step inside. Lanigan swats it out to a free man. That free man is Mark Sweeney. The angle is tightening, so Sweeney just pops over his point. Good score, his first.
Yeah, and he was playing in the full back line, man marking Donald Burke a few minutes ago, and here he is up at the other end of the field. Lanigan again doing some nice work. If he's not scoring, he's trying to set them up, and that's 2 in a row that he's assisted.
Murphy. Curry comes out to try and meet it. Really well read by Conor Burke. Oisín Lanigan, who's seen an awful lot of ball in the last few minutes. Connolly. Conor Burke. Burke. That's a delicious score from Conor Burke.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff. And I mean, Lanigan involved again. Tom Connolly, clever little ball popped over, and Conor Burke is the sort of player you don't want to leave him in too much space, but they just worked that so nice. The way he flicked away that first ball to affect the turnover was really good. He's such an excellent player, and I hope he's as well rated outside Dublin as he is inside it.
Not the first time that Vincents have led in this game. It is the first time they've led by 2 points. Intercepted by Lanigan.
And that's the downside for Conor Burke. He's probably more of a natural footballer than a natural hurler. Maybe a man-marking job in the full back line. They might consider putting him back and seeing if he can handle Hedgehoe and get Liam Rush out there centre back, where he's probably just that bit better on the ball.
Tom Connolly unlucky, hit the woodwork, and there was no one following it in. Sean Burke.
I absolutely understand though, from the Fianna's management point of view, it is one of those ones where you don't want Heatherton catching ball and scoring goal, and it's something you have to wrestle with. Which way do you go with those 2 players, Rush and McHugh?
Oliver gets it outside to Hugh Fenlon, looking for his second, which he does get.
Yeah, and really nice play from Matthew Oliver as well, to have the presence of mind and the coolness to actually give a nice hand pass to his teammates' advantage.
Very experienced Matthew Oliver. Burke. That'll go off to the keeper's left and wide. A 6th wide for St. Vincent's.
If I was Heatherton, I'd be pretty bull-ticked now that ball didn't just come in rather than a 100-yard shot that's going wide.
Trying to make inroads, Tom Brennan. Brennan trying to get away from Burke. Has to go off the stick here.
Yeah.
Advantage was being played, so it is a free in.
Loose hurley by Ryan McBride there, just across the man. Brennan winning that quite well. Brennan involved in a score a couple of minutes ago as well, so he's doing okay. So Ryan McBride will be a small bit frustrated with that. Maybe he has a score on the board already. Maybe he'd like to get in the game a little bit more. He's been tracked by Conor McHugh everywhere. But a good chance now for Na Fianna to come back and bring this game level.
Donald Burke looking for his second from a free.
It's more like it from Donald Burke after the missed one earlier, and he obviously added a beautiful one from play in between.
2 points in a row for Na Fianna. Means we're all square again. Heatherton, Lanigan running inside. That's not the option he goes with. It's Mark Sweeney.
Very
Lanigan
nice
has
Sweeney.
a free run to goal here. Oisin Lanigan. Great save by Tracy. Lanigan follows it up. Tracy again in the way. Danger still not gone. Lanigan had a good 3 goals at that. He couldn't take either of them or any of them. And we have a free out.
That is a huge let-off. I mean, Lanigan really needs to be finishing that. I know he's obviously a wing back, but he has all day to get the score right. And Mark Sweeney did so well to feed the ball into him. And I thought that Vincents had maybe overdone it, but John Heatherton coming out created the space inside. He popped it for Sweeney, who obviously took the big hit as well. He probably knew he was going to get taken out when he handed on to Lanigan, but Lanigan really needs to be finishing that out. Jonathan Tracy with a good save, and I couldn't quite see who came in and threw their body in the way when Lanigan looked for the second rebound, but that's a huge let off there.
Well, Lanigan did the right thing by going for goal in the position he was, but it was a fantastic double save, maybe even treble save by the goalkeeper. I'm not sure if it was him who got the third block, but he got the first 2 for certain.
And that's going to be a real lift for Na Fianna there. I think any player who's out there, they know at times you're going to be under the cosh, but if you can come through moments like that and maybe do something at the other end, it gives you a real boost.
Vincents have the possession. Morehouse Carroll tidying it up nicely. That's direct, but there's no one in there.
Too often St. Vincent's have done something like that, a shot from distance or an aimless ball.
Both players miss out. Who's going to win the second attempt? It's taken by Vincents and Manus Clackett, or I beg your pardon, that's Ryan McBride. Ryan McBride pops it over.
Yeah, he won the race there with Hugh Fenlon and knocked it over really nicely. If any player is going to be able to throw it over on their left hand side running away from goals at the 65, it's Ryan McBride.
Vincent's back in front. Tracy.
Brilliant job there from McBride to sort of use his body to nudge Shane Barrett away, and probably should have claimed it, but did very well to spoil him in the first place.
Vincent's delighted to have him back. He had a hamstring earlier in the season, and well, he had a hamstring injury earlier in the season.
Colin Curry winning a free there as well. I mean, if these players have been out for quite some time, so the fact that both Currys have been able to make such an impact is a huge boost for the team. Obviously giving away that last score was so frustrating because after Tom Connolly had hit the long range shot, whether it was a shot or a ball in, it went straight to the goalkeeper, and between him and Fenlon they couldn't manage to work the ball out the field, so an opportunity to level the game again straight away.
Burke.
And from the starting team, from what I've counted, it's 5 changes Na Fianna have named for this game, so it's very much a different looking team than what we had expected.
Burke hits it wide, 6 wides. It's Conor Burke. Depura. Batted away. Who's going to win the foot race here? Going after it was James Mulcahy. He couldn't get it first time. Does get it second time. Almost. It just spilled away from Bulger. Micheál Murphy. Good hand pass into the path of McHugh. Just fell off his hurley. Ryan McBride. He's going for it. He's not getting it. Good ball out to Tom Brennan. Time Tom is the call. I like the way he just kind of stopped for a second and turned and then picked it up. Here's Matthew Oliver. Good save by the goalkeeper, stopped it from going over.
Yeah, both teams have been dropping shots fairly short in this game. But again, I think we've seen the issues that both teams are having. It's getting those shots away from distance and taking too many of them. And Conor McHugh again spilling the ball at the top end of the pitch. They might look at that switch again yet. With Rush, obviously.
AJ Murphy is the intended target. He's stuck to there by Owen O'Neill. Owen O'Neill very strong. And Vincents win the free. Really great work by Owen O'Neill.
That's what you need for your defenders. Sometimes the ball is going to come into the forward's advantage and you need to be able to find a way to turn it over, and he did so there.
Great work by the student who's a former Dublin minor. Here's Lanigan.
Now will it be delivered or will it be a shot from...
It's delivered. Heatherton's trying to get under it. Rush is with him. It breaks. Will it break towards McBride? No, it just got away from him. Tracy read it really well. Rush. Tracy. It was close.
Nearly caught.
Donald Burke tries to run onto it with him for company. Mark Sweeney. AJ Murphy there as well. Burke. Good block by Sweeney. He was absolutely... He was hassled and harassed there, wasn't he? It goes loose and there's two Na Fianna players waiting. One of them was Clerkin. Now it's Shane Barrett. Back outside to Curry. Colin Curry looking for his second. What an interception that was.
Oh, that would have been a fantastic finish. Was it Conor Burke that came back in? I don't think it was, actually.
We'll get another look at that soon. Having a go here is Brian Bolger. He's got big scores for St. Vincent's this year already. That's another one.
Oh, what a killer that is. It could have been 2-6 to 10 points. All of a sudden it's the other way around. It's 1-6 to 2. So that puts St. Vincent's 2 points ahead. So that's a massive 4-point turnaround there. I think it might have been Owen O'Neill who cleared that off the line.
He's having a fine game, Owen O'Neill. Micheál Murphy swats it across. Liam Rush has a look up, goes down the channel. AJ Murphy running out to meet it. Simon Gorman is down again. AJ Murphy doesn't catch it right. Yeah. Colin Curry hasn't given up on it.
Their
keeper tidies it up. Here's Corman.
Sorry to interrupt you
there, right.
But the score conversion rate has been terrible.
Lanigan setting Brennan a dummy there. Then flipping it backwards. That was really nonchalant. Connolly. Heatherton. He'll have a go. Great work by Heatherton. He might be thinking more than one here. Heatherton couldn't keep it down. Or maybe he was just taking his point and he put a bit of power on it.
And you see again what I'm talking about with having, like Liam Rush, he's obviously more of a centre back or plays further out the field. He's obviously had different injuries as well over the years. So do you want him back there trying to defend an inside forward who's really good on the turn? Just doesn't look natural back there. They might have to do that switch with McHugh, even if it does mean that Heatherton, the high ball option, just becomes a bit more dangerous.
Lanigan spills it out to McBride. Crossfielder, Heatherton and Rush there again. Heatherton's already got 2 points. It's not going to be 3. Not right now anyway.
Yeah, he's missed the shot, but again, this isn't suiting Rush. And even a couple of minutes ago, Rush gave a lovely ball up to AJ Murphy, and you can see the benefit of having him further out the field.
Sean Burke goes low, received by Conor McHugh. A little bit too much on that one from McHugh. It's overcooked.
And again, look, McHugh's a good player, he's very effective, but you would rather Rush hit that ball, and you'd be hoping that McHugh can do some spoiling back in the full back line. Not to harp on about it too much, but it just seems at this stage they might just have to make that switch, even though I understand why they did it in the first place.
Morehouse Carroll inside to Burke. It's a good take and turn by Tarek McBride. He was upended. Play continues. That's wide.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with Sean Stack there. I can see both players are after taking a heavy thud, but he just turned around. They happened to bump into each other. I don't think there was an attempt at a foul. He was just looking to hold him up. And yeah, it definitely had an impact, but I think it was more unfortunate than anything else.
Well, St Vincent's have to make some running repairs here. They've got someone going off as a blood sub.
I think that's Derek McBride going off for the second time.
Yep, Derek McBride. He'll put himself through it, there's no doubt about that.
And looking around, a couple of the Na Fianna players seem to be trying to get oxygen back into the lungs. They look a little bit under pressure after the efforts of the first half, and they've just won 6th on the board at this stage, which isn't a massive return. And we have talked about the poor shooting, and a lot of that shooting has been from the sideline or from, backs to goal, and even just on this side here, Mark Sweeney getting in a block down on Donald Burke. And Burke has obviously done some very good things, but he also missed a handy free, and it's certainly they've been trying to work the ball in well. They've hit a good ball from the half back line a couple of times, nice crossfield ball in to AJ Murphy and Colin Curry also. And Curry of course had that second goal chance, could have knocked that in, and then maybe all of a sudden the complexity of the game changes. You think Na Fianna are flying it, but definitely 1-6 is not a great return at this stage.
Liam Rush loves driving out of defence with that ball, doesn't he? AJ Murphy again the intended target, and it does get to him. Has to get it off to Shane Barrett. Barrett continues his run, gets it back. Barrett flashes wide.
Look, Shane Barrett has goals on his mind here. He set up that chance for Colin Curry just a little while ago, the one that was clipped off the line by Owen O'Neill. But again, there's not really a goal on from that distance. It's brilliant to have a player running at defences like that, but just take the point, get your team motoring.
Speaking of taking the points, here's Bulger. Well, I thought that's what he'd do. He gave it to McBride. They're trying to work at Heatherton.
Yeah, he did throw it up and catch it. Well spotted by Sean Stack.
Well, that'll be really frustrating for St Vincent's, because at the very least they should have got a point out of that attack. They leave with nothing.
Yeah, it was good play from Bulger to feed the ball into Ryan McBride, and he had a chance to just kind of size up what was in front of him. Drew the defender, hit a nice ball to Heatherton, and they definitely should have got something out of that.
Vincent's have the free. Wasn't the most high quality game for the first few minutes. That's understandable. Two teams in the knockout stages. It's a big game. You start rather nervously, but it's really warmed up. The tempo of it certainly has upped.
Yeah, the only thing letting it down really is the score conversion and some shots from 100 yards when there's nothing really on. But it's been a good game. Both teams are absolutely throwing everything into it. There's going to be plenty of sore bodies after this.
Heatherton couldn't get under it. It's another wide. Technically speaking, a 7th wide.
And that's the upside of Liam Rush back there. There's not many players who would have been able to sort of nudge and wrestle. And look, he's half fouling Heatherton there, which is probably why he lashed back. But it's very cute from Liam Rush, and there wouldn't be a free for that any day of the week. Yellow card for Heatherton. He obviously did let the hurley do a bit too much work.
By the way, it's all over after penalties in the relegation playoff. It's half time here. The half time ending on a bit of a whimper there. That yellow card brandished, and the referee said there was time for no more. Vincent's leading by 3. Shane, we'll talk about that in a second. But in the relegation playoff, it's all over. Plunketts have won 6-5 on penalties at O'Toole Park. The penalty shootout going to sudden death. That one going all the way. They went into extra time. They couldn't be separated. It was 2:17 apiece after normal time, 2:23 apiece after extra time. But in the end, Plunketts keep their Senior 1 status by beating Crave Kieran on penalties 6-5. It's half time in the second of our 2 quarter-finals here in Parnell Park. Vincent's leading 12-1-6 against Na Fianna. Let's have a look at the highlights of the first half. Shane Stapleton.
Yeah, here's Donald Burke early on, knocks this one over beautifully. I suppose as we're watching the highlights, I'm sure that's an absolute killer for Crave Kieran. We saw them here against St Vincent's the first day out, and they play quite well. They just don't really have enough scores in the team, but they've plenty of really good hurlers, and to lose on penalties, I'm sure they're just so frustrated. Colin Curry here doing some very good work, but look, you can see St Vincent's have got an awful lot of players around him, making it very, very difficult. And if you're St Vincent's and you can see the score, at least the management is saying, well, look, we're getting bodies in, we're getting tackles in. Fair enough, it ended up being a free, but the players were trying to, ended up being recycled for a point, but they're trying to do everything right. Ryan McBride has definitely made an impact on this game, has a couple of scores, and obviously sets up a lovely one there for James Mulcahy. I'd like to see, from a Vincent's point of view, Alan Moore getting into the game a little bit more. Generally, he's a very, very good runner with the ball and always has a score in him. Off balance, that was a lovely ball in from Sean Curry into AJ Murphy, and you can't really blame Simon Gormley there with the quality of the ball going in. You just have to make sure that you're not getting turned for a goal. Just let him have his shot. again, that crossfield ball being put in Peter Feeney this time, and straight to Curry, who that's a brilliant little sort of shimmy and sidestep, and you couldn't really say Dara Dupere had much of a chance there. And Vincents have been very good at these stick passes and trying to move the ball around at times when they haven't resorted to, long shots. That obviously that long shot did go over, but at times they haven't. But in general, they've been very good at working the stick passes around, which led to that Heatherton goal chance just before half time as well.
Heatherton, he's got a couple of points in this game. Liam Rush has been at his side all the way. This was a really good setup. Lanigan ran onto it and then just flighted it over.
Lanigan has a great old engine on him. We see him here coming out with the ball again, and he did hit this ball in towards Heatherton, but he put it in the right area. And Heatherton, this is what you can see, he's up against someone who's not used to playing in the full back line, and that is the risk. It's a risk reward thing. He has a good chance at spoiling Heatherton on a lot of those high balls, better than anyone else, but it backfires in other ways.
And that point put Vincents in front, but Burke comes up with the equaliser here.
Yeah, that was absolutely magic stuff, and he barely makes a noise coming off his hurley. He's just such a smooth striker.
Mark Sweeney getting in on the scoring act, putting Vincents back in front.
Yeah, and he also helped set up that goal chance for Oisin Lanigan, and not you, Oisin Lanigan in the first half. But he's done a great job man marking Donald Burke for the most part. Scored a point and set up that goal chance.
Burke with the wonderful score there. Fenlon was to respond for Na Fianna afterwards. This in the 21st minute, making it 1-5 to 9 points.
And I wonder is the reason that Mark O'Farrell didn't start for Vincents today. Perhaps it's injury, but perhaps they were thinking AJ Murphy, Colin Curry, Shane Curry, the likes of those inside, that they'd want someone probably more mobile.
This is a huge chance. Lanigan.
Yeah, he needs to score that there. There's no question about it. And Jonathan Tracy does quite well there. And it's number 9, that's Peter Feeney, who gets the body in the line as well. And obviously great to win a free after that. But this is Ryan McBride. He makes what's a very difficult chance look unbelievably easy.
It was a fantastic score by McBride. That made it 10 points to 1-6.
And here's what I'm talking about with Shane Barrett. He has goals on his mind today, and Curry did do the right thing, and yeah, that's Owen O'Neill, who does really well to get back and not giving up. Again, you can see 10 yards off. He's just not used to playing that position. Does a little skip and a jump as Hedgehow sells the dummy, and certainly Heatherton has been very dangerous, and you just don't want him getting goals, which is the whole plan with Rush back there. But death by 1,000 cuts could eventually do for Na Fianna as well.
Barrett flashing it wide. Can play in the half backs, can play in the half forwards, and everywhere else in between.
That was good defending by Na Fianna. They obviously saw the danger as Ryan McBride was running through, and they made sure just to get some sort of a tackle in there, and that's all it required. And brilliant stuff from them there, because if they had to concede a goal there and it went out to give or take 6 points, that's a huge gap to try and pare back in the second half.
So half time, it's a good tussle in the second go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship quarter final. St Vincent's leading by 3 points, 12 points to 1-6 already through today. We saw it earlier on, Ballyboden beating Lucan Sarsfields. You can go back and watch that game on Dubs TV. Remember, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, everything we do will pop up automatically, including any draws. And we've got a draw coming up at 5:30. It will be at that time unless there's extra time. Obviously then it will be later. The kids enjoying themselves on the pitch at half time. It's great to see, isn't it? The next generation. It's
fabulous. Now, if you're a substitute for one of the two teams here and you're actually not allowed out on the pitch to warm up, it's a little bit frustrating, but it is brilliant to see so many kids out there, because you want that next generation coming through.
Yep, it's wonderful. Half time here, St Vincent's leading by 12 points to 1-6. We'll be back with the second half very, very soon. Stay with us. Welcome back to Parnell Park for the second half of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final. St Vincents against Na Fianna, 12 points to 1-6 in favour of Vincents. Shane Stapleton, who has won 5 senior Dublin titles with Coola, joining me for this game. Shane, what are you expecting from the second half?
Yeah, I think it'll be more physical fare here, and I suppose the big thing for Na Fianna is they need to keep that scoreboard ticking over a little bit more. And St Vincents have 12 points up here to 7 scores from Na Fianna, which is 1-7. They've brought in Donal Ryan, big man here for Na Fianna, so they'll be looking for him to make a bit of an impact. Part of me had wondered, would he go on John Heatherton because of the size-wise, to maybe release Liam Rush further out the field, but he seems to be picking up Alan Moore. But definitely I expect this game to go all the way to the wire. It's just that Na Fianna, you'd think with some of the forwards that they have, Donal, Burke, the two Currys, that they would actually be putting up a decent score here. Maybe that'll transpire in the second half. They're playing into what I call the score and goals, so we'll see.
Donal Ryan brings a lot of strength on. He is a dual senior player, has played underage football with Dublin. His brother Sean also part of the setup. Here's Lanigan, played well in the first half, although he did, I was going to say, miss that chance. In fairness to Jonathan Tracy in the Na Fianna goal, it was a good double save. Free for Na Fianna.
Yeah, Burke was looking for the quick one there, but Sean Stack said take it back a few yards.
Sean Stack, our referee, our officials, our lines people, Chris Mooney and Tom Gleeson. Chris has had a busy game. He refereed the match earlier on between Ballyboden and Lucan. A decent enough contest. Taking this free, Donald Burke. It's going to drop into the hand of the goalkeeper, and there was a foul. It's a free out, or was it a square ball?
Yeah, I think he's signalling it was a square ball, alright.
Puera. I was about to say a good catch, but it was dropped, but dropped into the path of Burke. Murphy. Feeney. Good stick pass. Dropped. He got caught in two minds there, Donald Burke. McHugh. Good ball to Shane Barrett. First score of the second half. Barrett's first score of the game.
Yeah, really nice simple play from Conor McHugh there, and of course Donald Burke almost got turned over. They managed to retain the possession, and nice little score there. Obviously Barrett was mad to set up goals in the first half, took his point there, and they needed it.
Liam Rush up against Heatherton. It's a battle we've talked an awful lot about so far, and Rush wins this particular battle. It's a free out.
Well, that's the power of the man. It's not many people are going to be able to turn and force Heatherton into a foul like that, so that's the upside of having Liam Rush back there.
AJ Murphy comes out to meet it, but Lanigan intercepted. Can't keep it in play though. Line ball for Na Fianna.
Yeah, really should have been able to take that down. Instead puts his team under a little bit of pressure with a needless line ball.
It's been a busy day in Dublin hurling. Already we've seen Ballyboden go through to the quarter-final. Unfortunately for Crave Kieran, they were relegated, beaten on penalties by Plunkett's. Bridget's and Jude's should be getting underway, if not already underway, over in O'Toole Park. Obviously that was delayed. That's a line ball which has plenty of air but not enough accuracy.
Yeah, AJ Murphy there.
Vincents work it. Derek McBride up against Micheál Murphy, tries to cut inside. Murphy slips.
3 catches, yeah.
Second time the Vincents have been caught for 3 catches in this game.
Yeah, I think when he just did the little bit of stumble, it probably made him forget about the fact that he'd already 2 catches taken. But it was the 2 players that weren't able to start the last day, Tom Connolly and Derek McBride, who worked that ball up well. Did so well until getting to that last situation where he did the 3rd catch.
Sean Curry standing over this free.
He was very slow about that, and he had AJ Murphy making a great run out the wing and just didn't see it. Really should have played that ball in front of Murphy.
3-on-1 in favour of St Vincent's there, so no surprise they get the possession. Simon Gorman's running into space if he spotted.
That's clever play there to take that little tap onto the ground.
Hard to do. Brian Bulger running out to meet it was Sean Burke. That's a good turn away. Clerkin. AJ Murphy has it in hand. He's got an option, but he mightn't need it. AJ Murphy goes outside. Here's Donald Burke. Brilliant defending again. Great save by the goalkeeper. Really smartly off his line.
Yeah, I mean, he showed great bravery there to just charge straight at Conor Burke. Brilliant work from AJ Murphy, the way he turned and went at his man, and Conor Burke was nearby as well as the sweeper. But the way the ball was worked up the field, Sean Curry with an excellent ball. I gave out about his free a minute ago, but he played that one in brilliantly. I actually just think that AJ Murphy should have taken the shot on himself. I'm not sure why he went for the hand pass. Obviously he thought that there was a great opportunity for Donald Burke, but he had the goal chance himself, and it was a narrow angle for a finish from Donald Burke. But that's to take nothing away from Dara Dwyer.
We might get another look at that in a moment. It is a 65 for Na Fianna, but it could have been far, far worse for Vincents. Here it is.
Look at that great ball in by Sean Curry. Certainly can shoot himself there. Be a killer to not at least get a point from this situation, but it just showed that there is that threat up there. There should be more scores in this Na Fianna attack.
It's knocked over by Donald Burke.
And just one in and now, it's anybody's game.
Two points in the second half so far, both of them for Na Fianna. Heatherton drops it, gets it back up. It's unusual, but it works. McBride can't escape, but he's got the free in.
Look, as a defender, there's no black card at club level. You're doing the right thing there. Just pull him down. It's not the most popular thing to say, but there was no way Keane McBride was going to be allowed to walk in there and get a 4 or 3 pointer.
Well, let's have another look. As you say, the rule doesn't exist in the club game whereby that would be a penalty and a black card.
Yeah, and I mean, John Heatherton, he hits in the sort of ball that he'd love to get himself. That was a lovely ball in there, and for the defender, he was kind of in a situation he didn't know whether he should or shouldn't go for it, but ultimately it was Sean Burke allowed Keane McBride to catch that ball. He's a direct player, he's a strong player, he will stay turning the legs at you, and look, he had to take him down. There's no two ways about it, even if it's not the PC thing to say about it.
That's put over by Heatherton. Hedjo, as he's better known. Who's it going to spill to? Curry hockeys it along. Referee lets it go. Here's Connolly. Almost turning into trouble there, but Burke got himself out of trouble, or did he? No, he didn't. It was intercepted. Flicked into the path and the hand of Sean Curry. That's a great pass to Colin Curry. Another fine save. And he went over the line. It is a 65, but again, the important thing there was not letting the goal in.
Again, Sean Curry delivering ball in really good. I thought he was just going to pop it off to AJ Murphy for a simple point, but you know, he was looking for the jugular, and it was a great ball across. Lovely touch by Colin Curry. Dara Dwyer again, but you know, throughout the game, Na Fianna have created goal chance after goal chance, and they've only converted one, and that's at least 3 gilt-edged ones. Now obviously Na Fianna, Vincents had one as well, but that's just such a fantastic opportunity there. Again, if you get the point, at least that draws the game back to just within 1.
Another 65 for Donald Burke. But
ultimately they're going to have to start converting more of these goal chances if they want to get through. And by the way, Sean Mulcahy's on the field for St. Vincent's. It could be hard to tell with the numbers being black and the band being blue on the jersey, but he's in there as well.
Heatherton, there's no mistaking him regardless of what number he's wearing. That's a good take, a good turn. Looks like a good finish as well. His second of the second half. His first from play in the second half. His third from play overall.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem at this stage is that St. Vincent's are able to get so much ball into him, and some sort of a change needs to happen. He has his few scores, but he's also setting up as well, and he's definitely causing a lot of damage.
Shane Barrett goes long.
Again, that's reverting back to what we saw too much in the first half. You can't be having shots like that on the back foot over the shoulder on your weaker side. It's just not how you win games.
The soon-to-be Dr. De Puera pucks it out. He's studying a PhD. Somehow Shane Barrett has pickpocketed Conor Burke.
And that's what you want from Shane Barrett. You want him in there working hard. You want him taking on shots that, you know, he's not going to miss, running straight at goal. That's the sort of situations that Na Fianna need to be creating if we're going to have a good score and conversion rate. So more of that, and deliver the ball if you're not in those situations.
That's so frustrating from the Vincents' point of view.
It's Derek McBride wearing number 28 delivering the ball. He's obviously started number 7.
But he was a blood sub, so had to go off. Ryan McBride inside. Great block. It was Micheál Murphy. That'll be worth another look in a couple of moments if we can. Feeney takes it.
It was Sean Mulcahy with the sub that came on there a little while ago.
Tracy. Great take by Brennan. Brennan skins Lanigan. Curry. Shane Barrett's in space on the near side if he spots him. Curry takes it on himself and hits it wide.
Yeah, Colin looks a bit frustrated. He reckons that was a score, but again, he didn't have too many options on. I know, as you pointed out, Shane Barrett was here at this side, but it was probably as easy to go for the shot as try and find him.
Murphy. The tension ratcheting up here, isn't it?
Yeah, and Murphy's had a very good game. Some of these players who weren't initially down to start, Murphy and Tom Brennan, they've certainly made an impact.
Let's have a look at that block.
Ryan McBride involved, and great stuff from Murphy. And okay, maybe he's just not in all that long just yet, and be a bit frustrated to get blocked down there.
Here's Donald Burke. Goes wide.
I mean, it's one thing hitting it wide, but he obviously mishit it if he's kind of half dropping it short as well at the same time. That's just not a free that seems to be hit with confidence, and you wonder with his wrists why he'd ever wouldn't be full of confidence.
Shane, I appreciate you braving commentary today, considering you've got a little bit of voice strain. You haven't recovered from the Garth Brooks concert. You sang every number along with him, didn't you?
I was standing outside the fire with him.
You went to all 5 concerts.
I have a jar of honey here, and I'm throwing it down in between the matches, and that was just the biggest croak I've done yet.
I bet you haven't sounded like this since you were a teenager. I have a jar of honey.
Back when I was in my choir days.
Donald Burke, that's amazing.
Well, like when you see him do that,
I thought it was going wide.
Well, like when you see him hit a ball like that from that distance, you wonder how did he drop a free short and wide a few seconds ago. He's just got such great wrists, it makes no sense. But brilliant score, and that draws Na Fianna level.
Sean Mulcahy, who had that goal-bound shot blocked a couple of moments ago. This reminds me of the Gauntlet in Gladiators, remember that? I'll bet Oisin Lanigan doesn't, he's much too young. St Vincents have a free in.
You're talking about the game show now, are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
The game show, yeah.
With Jet and Hunter and the rest.
That's right. It's coming back apparently.
Yeah, our younger viewers certainly won't have a clue what you're on about. But it was the bee's knees. Speaking of honey.
Heatherton is coming out to take the free. A rare moment of calm in this game.
Brian Moorhouse Carroll is following Sean Curry around the field, and that's going to be very important for the rest of the game to make sure that Curry doesn't do too much damage, because he's loaded up a couple of bullets for his inside forwards, and he'll obviously be looking to contribute more of that.
That's a wide. Fergal Brannock helps it on. Liam Rush. Rush does that kind of Spider-Man pass that he loves. Feeney.
Hint of a throw to it.
Brannock. Magnificent score from Fergal Brannock.
Just like the first game, you want your sub to come in and make a difference, and Brannock scoring like that is fantastic stuff. And obviously Rush carried the ball out nicely and put his team on the front foot.
Brannock, a stalwart of the team. He's been around for a long time. Played Dublin minor back in the day. I'm sure if Na Fianna win, no homework for the kids in Sculmoby in his class tomorrow.
But he's kind of standing back there, furthest man back, Brannock. He's sort of sweeper, but he's even standing behind where Heatherton, obviously this is just setting up for the free, but he was basically the last man back there. Everyone was out in front of him, and that's probably obviously going to be his position now, and make sure that there's no goal going in that end of the field.
Morehouse Carroll had got free on this near side, now pressing up on him is Fenlon, so that option is gone. Gorman has to retrieve that and does. Looked at the referee as if to say, am I not getting a free for that high hurley from Colin Curry? Not vicious, but it was high.
No, it's a definite free, yeah.
Barrett. That's a good pass. Will it be met by a good finish from Burke? No, it was a tough enough one to take on, but he would expect himself to score from there.
Yeah, I think everyone on the ground did. I mean, he's the sort of lad who should be knocking him over with the quality of striking he has. Good work again from Shane Barrett. The turnover was obviously there, but at the same time it should have been a free for Vincents just before that.
That's some scramble, and that's right under us as well, so you can feel it as well as see it. Brannock sweeps it forward, having dropped it. That was Curry looking for AJ Murphy. They're claiming it was a foul, but Owen O'Neill will say it was good cornerback play. Stealing away Brannock. Somehow he escaped the crowd and gets the free in. Well, they'll argue that that's karma because they should have had one maybe a couple of seconds earlier. They get it now.
Well, Sean Sack is obviously trying to let the game go. He doesn't want to turn it into a free-taking competition, but I do think AJ Murphy probably deserved a free. He seemed to get a nudge. And again, we talked about Brannock a minute ago scoring that brilliant point from his own half after being set up by Liam Rush to go in there and win a ruck for his team, and he's dropping back down a sweeper again at the other end of the field. That's huge for his team, and an opportunity here to go 2 points ahead with 15 minutes to go, which is a good position to be in after going a few behind in that first half.
Donald Burke. His second in a row.
I think it's Simon Gordon. He looks to be struggling over there at the far side. The physio's in, giving him a bit of attention. And that would be a bit of a blow if Gormley had to go off, because the inside forward line is an area of strength for this Na Fianna team with Curry, Colin Curry obviously, and AJ Murphy on the inside. You don't want to be losing a player, and it looks like he is going off now.
In all the craziness, I knew I was wrong, even as I said his second in a row. Brannock got the last one. It is his second in 3. I can try and cover it up, but I was wrong ultimately.
Look it, we all
I'm sure Na Fianna don't care.
Look, I'll paper over the cracks that you leave as much as I can, but
you can only do so much.
Yeah.
You can only do so much. That's the danger with these games when you're trying to commentate and write. Multitasking, not exactly my bag.
That was a lovely little show and go by Owen O'Neill to set this up.
Derek McBride wearing number 28 because he was a blood sub. It squirts up, he gets it under control. McBride's still going somehow. McBride! Good save by Tracy. They have another swing off it and it goes wide.
Jeez, that was fantastic.
It's a penalty.
Wow.
It's a penalty.
We'll get a replay of that.
Well, we'll have to. Let's have a look. McBride with the run somehow kept it going, somehow kept the possession, somehow got a shot away. Oh, just a little arm left on him there by Sean Burke.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a pull, but is it quite enough for a penalty? It's sort of that little half tug that we've seen in hurling for many, many years. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, maybe.
Yeah, we'll try and get another look at that. But look, watch out for number 19 Na Fianna on Burke, number 28 Vincents as he gets in here.
Yeah, his arm certainly comes across, and you can see number 19 there. He's already making his chase back at this stage. Donald Burke, I mean, you don't throw the shoulder in there. He's not a natural defender. That's where you try and wrap a guy up, because if you hit a shot, you're only going to bounce him away from you. Again, look, there was certainly an arm in and across. Technically speaking, it probably is a free, but just for a penalty for a potential 3-pointer here, it just seems an awful lot. Like, I want to see a funeral before a free is given, you know that, but still I just think that's a little bit too soft.
Hedgehoe, who got a hat-trick of goals the last time out against Crokes, has the chance to get Vinny's first of the day here.
Well, we saw Paul Ryan with his left hand side hitting a brilliant penalty earlier on for Ballyboden. I wouldn't be shocked if he stretched the net.
Heatherton against Tracy, a big moment in this quarter final. Good save by Tracy, it rebounds and Tracy collects it. Not a great penalty, a very good save. Na Fianna desperate to try and clear the danger, and St Vincent's have it back, and another chance here. And they get the free rather than the penalty this time around. I'm sure Na Fianna would have been delighted with that outcome if they were offered it just before the penalty was struck.
Without doubt, Hugh Fenlon eventually with the little drag back there, and I suppose they really should have been able to clear the ball after the initial great save. Like, we have to credit John and Tracy, it's a good save, but John Heatherton be looking to be putting that far more into the top corner and a bit more power on it, or maybe even skip it off the ground. But for a finish, yeah, if they were told you're only going to concede 1 point from this situation, you'd probably take it. And given the fact that I don't really think it was that much of a penalty, I mean, technically maybe, yeah, but I suppose that's just about right from that situation. 113 to 15 points. It's so beautifully poised with 11 or 12 minutes to go.
It really is, and remember, it does have to end today. Extra time and penalties required. We've already seen penalties in a game in Dublin today. Plunkett's overcoming Crave Kieran in the relegation playoff. What a heartbreaking, well, it's heartbreaking to go down no matter how it happens, but to go down like that, that's particularly cruel.
What's interesting now is that John Heatherton has come out around the centre forward area, which brings Liam Rush out the field to mark him. Now maybe Vincents are thinking if we pull him out of there's a bit more frailty back in the Fianna's full back line, but it might work against them if Rush is able to impose himself on the game here.
Connolly wins the free,
and it does mean that Conor Burke has gone back into the full back. Sorry, Conor McHugh has gone into the full back line on Ryan McBride. So that's going to be a serious test of his feet if the ball goes in front of McBride.
Remember, Na Fianna without Paul O'D today, he broke his wrist against Coola.
Such a huge loss, because he was playing very well in that game and he was hitting nice cross-field football up to his forwards, and big loss.
Heatherton.
But most teams are going to have to play through the championship and take an injury or two and try and do it without a big player. It's the same for everybody, and that's Heatherton's second miss from that flank. That was a bit more in field, but it's costly.
And what's it like to be that injured player? You have been in that position.
Yeah, it's unbelievably frustrating on the sideline, sitting looking in at it, but you just kind of have to accept it. That's life sometimes.
Curry isn't looking in. He's looking on as he gets another score.
I mean, it's night and day when we look at the team that Na Fianna had out against Coola a few rounds ago. That they didn't have the likes of the Currys out there. Obviously other lads went off injured, but like having Colin Curry back in, the way he controlled that down off the puck out, brilliant. To have the presence of mind to do the fake shot and knock it over, it was wonderful for his team.
Lanigan thought he had it, instead it's Feeney. Free for Na Fianna.
Yeah, I mean, that is a free. It is a shoulder to head. A small bit unlucky. I don't think he was looking to do Feeney there, but it's going to be a yellow card for Sean Mulcahy, I'd imagine, here. And an opportunity for Donald Burke to stretch the lead out to 3 points. And Sean Curry is keeping St. Vincent's guessing here. He's obviously played a lot of the game out around midfield, even around his own half back line looking for ball. He's brought Brian Morehouse-Carroll back to his own full back line now. Maybe Morehouse-Carroll is more comfortable back there being named as a number 4, but Curry can certainly score when he's up in that end of the field, himself and his brother in there now. That's a significant threat. And having that flexibility in your team is important. Now, can John Heatherton get into the game even more out centre forward? He's been very dangerous on the inside, so in some ways I'm not sure why they're changing something that probably was working, but perhaps it's the decision being made on the field by the players. Perhaps it's because they feel that it will weaken that Na Fianna full back line back there, which, at times we saw in the county final last year, they certainly were coughing up a few scores, especially as the game went on and a couple of players had to go off. But speaking of injuries and players going off, Shane Barrett is having to hobble off here. He had to go off against Coola, and losing him again here is a bit of a blow, because he's set up goal chances, he's got a couple of points himself, and the deeper you go into the panel, obviously you're not going to have the same level of quality, so it's a significant test of the panel here for Na Fianna.
Well, if required, we will have extra time and penalties. The draw to be made at 5:30. That's the schedule anyway, but the schedule may well be knocked off course. Sean Ryan is coming in for Na Fianna.
Another big man.
Yeah, he certainly is. Good skills as well though, Sean Ryan. He can take and move, has played for the Dublin Minors and under 21s, brother of Donald obviously. And that's a miss. 2 between them. 7 to go, plus injury time.
Again, just a bit erratic from Donald Burke today. He scored ones you didn't expect him to, and then, frees where you think he's central enough and it would suit him. Not quite happened all the time.
Lovely pass by Morehouse-Carroll. Owen O'Neill, who made that dramatic intervention on his own goal line in the first half. McBride juggles and takes well. It's 3-on-2 in favour of Na Fianna in the area that ball is played into. It might break, no it doesn't. Swept up very well by Fergal Vernock. Curry back on his own 20-metre line. I know position's been very little, but you'd see him primarily as a scorer. Here's Sean Ryan, and the free in is one. It's a cheap one to give away, and a card might follow.
Well, see, the thing is it's John Heatherton back inside his own 65 tackling, when the ball was a high crossfield ball was coming from Keane McBride at the other side. You have small forwards competing for it, whereas John Heatherton is the man who should be under it. So I'm really starting to wonder, are they going to reverse this decision with John Heatherton, he's actually been sent off.
It's a red card, an incalculable blow for St. Vincent's. Heatherton sent off. Well, we'll try and get another look at that incident.
Well, to me, I mean, moving him out of the full forward line has been a disastrous decision.
Here it is. Have a look, Shane. Heatherton 14 for Vincents.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not far off a yellow card. I don't know if he quite hit him hard enough for it to really be a yellow card, but again, it's just a bad decision to take him out of full forward line because he was going so well in there. And what have they got out of moving him out of there? Nothing.
It's Colin Curry who'll take the free.
Well, this happened last year in that quarter final. I mentioned it earlier in the game when the frees weren't really going for Donald Burke. Colin Curry took them over and did well with them. So let's see if he does here. No.
Two points between them. Improvements with regards to efficiency of shooting would be required for either of these two teams in the semi-final, but they'll worry about getting to the semi-final first. Rebounds around, it falls kindly for Peter Feeney. Tracy had rush as an option, went long instead. It was a good option to go with Micheál Murphy. He has all the time in the world. Micheál Murphy from a long way out. It's tailing, it's wide.
He could have carried that another 10 yards. Really and truly just planting the feet and driving it from that far out. It was a 50-50 at best. St. Vincent's are going to have to be brave now without being down a man. They're going to have to accept that they'll nearly need to leave their men 1-on-1 at the back because they're 2 points down. They have to chase this game and the leaders are going to have to step up.
Brilliant interception by Liam Rush.
Yeah, it's a poor free from Conor Burke. I just said the leaders have to step up and just you'd expect a little bit more from their key man.
Clerkin took a second but did get that one into the hand.
John Walsh is also on for St. Vincent's, small little forward. He's got a bit of pace about him.
Here's Sean Ryan. Ryan trying to get past his man Owen O'Neill. O'Neill fouls him. From the corner back point of view, it was a foul he had to make.
I suppose with Sean Ryan, that first ball that he spilled that led to the second card for Heatherton, he obviously was lacking a bit of sharpness with that first ball, but he got the hand on it this time, turned and went at Owen O'Neill, and that's what you want from a player like Sean Ryan. He's a big man. If he gets the legs going, he's going to be hard to stop. They can't afford to concede a goal. There's going to be 3 points between the teams now, and just with the way that St. Vincent's coughed up possession with that poor free, it's for naught really, you know. It's just needless turnovers leading to scores.
The game has got very tight. That's the first score for either team in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, I suppose when it comes up to the last period of the game, that's when decision making kind of goes against teams and mistakes happen. And Dark McBride has been good and just a great turnover there.
Commentator's curse. Liam Rush inside to Dermot Clerk in his first year in the senior panel. His cousins play for Plunkett. They'll be happy today because they're staying up in senior one. Conor Burke intercepts it.
The other side was a ball for, is that Sean Baxter who's on? There was a goal on and in the game really as a contest.
John Walsh hangs it up for Mark Sweeney to run onto. Sweeney, he'll drive this one.
Has to go over.
It's more of a chip than a drive. Either way it goes over. Mark Sweeney, a vital score.
I said leaders had to stand up and he did in the first half. Got a score or two on the board. Had a block down of Conor Burke and gets another important score there. There's Sean Curry with a clever ball up to Baxter, who should have been fed for a goal chance earlier, but yeah, poor wide.
Ryan is really frustrated with that. He wanted the ball inside. Remember, Vincent's down to 14 men. Heatherton has been sent off. Connolly has a runner up top. That's Sean Mulcahy. Sean Mulcahy. That's going to drop. It could drop anywhere. Bodies on the line, stop here.
Oh!
And that's a free out.
Yeah.
You just can't pull on it like that in those situations.
You can't lower the blade when there's bodies down there. I think that was Ryan McBride, and I mean in truth it should have been a point in the first place. Sean Mulcahy should really be knocking that over from 40 yards out, but anything could have happened when that ball dropped in there, and Jonathan Tracy not the most convincing in that situation, but you have to credit Conor McHugh and you have to credit I think it was Sean Burke who got their bodies in the way. That's what it takes to win championship matches at this stage of the season.
One of those, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like Tom Connolly, obviously he set up that scoring chance for Sean Mulcahy. We need a big last few minutes from him if Vincents are going to win. Conor Burke is going to have to step up. Ryan McBride now, these key men.
If you win a match, the kind of belts that were just taken there by the Na Fianna defender who was in the way of that attempted McBride shot, they actually, even though they cause pain, it's kind of a pleasure pain. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
Donald Burke
I think
hits it wide.
Every player knows that sensation. You talk
Yeah.
about the few days after a match, and a bit of tenderness, but it's loving tenderness if you win.
Yeah, if you win, it's actually a great feeling. If you lose, it's horrific. McBride taking it out of defence. Derek McBride shrugged off Murphy. It's a free.
Look, I feel a little bit sorry for Derek McBride there, because he had a man pulling and dragging out of him a few times. He's trying to get him away from him. He probably could have been given a free a little bit sooner, but when the free wasn't given, if you shove a guy like that, sometimes it goes against you. It's just very, very costly now, because you'd imagine this free will be knocked over.
Na Fianna looked like they were on their way back to the semi-final. It was a huge blow to them to lose the final last year. It is no guarantee that the next year will be successful if you come close the year before. But in fairness, they've responded well. They've had their injury issues in the group and earlier in the competition, but it looks like they have at the very least reached the top 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you thought a bit like the way they were going in the group stages, they almost half wondered the manner of the defeat last year, that it knocked the stuffing out of this group. But no, the way they're building through this championship now, it suggests they're ready to have a real blast in the final 4, assuming there isn't late heroics from Vincents.
Vincents will need to find a goal from somewhere. We're in injury time. Remember, Vincents down to 14, and probably their biggest goal threat, John Heatherton, has been sent off.
Yeah, the hat-trick hero from the semi-final, and obviously Liam Rush now can play as the spare man back here. I mean, what a guy to be able to have as a spare man in a club game. Heatherton going off is just a huge loss, and again taking him out of the full forward line, it really has backfired. Sean Stack giving a yellow card here.
Well, there's something going on off the ball.
A schnig, baby.
It's the second time you've used that term, and it will be the last today, hopefully. Good strong defending by Conor McHugh, and it's a line ball for Na Fianna.
Yeah, a very difficult ball for Ryan McBride to do anything with. One going 100 miles an hour up the line and very little room to work with. All Conor McHugh needs to do is a little nudge, and he did it very well.
Foot race on. Conor Burke tries to get there. He doesn't. It's shoveled up by Feeney. And it's a line ball to, well, judging by the look of Feeney, it looked like a line ball to Na Fianna.
Yeah, I think it took a little flick off one of the Vincents players, and that's why he was given the decision, and he fist pumped. We're often accusing Tipperary of celebrating sideline cuts with fist pumps, but it's done up here in Dublin as well, obviously.
It's got decent air and it doesn't have the accuracy though. They'll try and keep it alive through Donald Burke. Burke goes to ground, gets back up. There was a push, it is a free, and that should be enough to see Na Fianna home. Yeah,
I mean, it's just a little bit rash. You can understand he wants to get the ball, but you have to be patient sometimes, and jumping in over the back of Donald Burke it's just disastrous really, because this free should be knocked over by Colin Curry, and it's a 4-point deficit. It's already 32 minutes gone in the second half. There can't be much more to go.
Curry, he won't miss this. He almost did. He almost did.
Christ almighty.
Na Fianna have got the last 2 points. It's put them 4 in front. For St Vincent's, it's well and truly the last chance saloon, but the fact that they're 4 down as opposed to just 3, it means they need to find 2 scores.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult at this stage of the game, and they're going to have to look to drop one into the house, and not having Heatherton in there lowers the chances significantly.
Well, I'm sure they've asked how long is left. Morehouse Carroll. They have to go long, they have to go direct. That's McBride. Will it fall? Kindly for McGarry. Charging on is Mulcahy. They need a goal, that's a free.
Wipe out. That was a big hit for Conor McHugh. But look, there was no way he was going to let James Mulcahy carry that ball much further up the field, and as a defender there are times when you see your chance to take a pound of flesh and you go for it, and heavy hit for Mulcahy. Fair play to him running up the guts of that Na Fianna defence.
Now, do you take the point here and then hope that you win the next possession?
I don't know. I think you mightn't get another chance to go for a goal, so maybe crack for it.
Connolly goes for it. Tracy saves it again. Wasn't the strongest hit. Connolly wanted to take the penalty as well, but Heatherton did, and Tracy saved that as well. Baxter. Burks Well, he was on the edge of the square. He's drifting out now, tries to break it down to Sean Ryan. Ryan is just getting his body over it. He has it in hand. Burke. Wow, that should be that. Burke absolutely nails it. It's a beautiful point.
Yeah, and credit to Sean Ryan as well. He's made an impact since coming in. He's obviously set up one freeze. He set up that score there. He's just been well, the red card came off a tackle on him as well. He's made a real impact. Tom Connolly's free at the other end as well. It just bounced way too far in front of goals, which took all the zip out of it. Still a good save by Jonathan Tracy, but
there was a foul off the ball there on Conor Burke. It's a free to St. Vincent's inside the D. They have to go for goal here. They need 2 goals.
Yeah, it might be a little bit further out again. It is a little bit further out again, so it's going to be even harder to blast this one at goal, and I wonder who'll be even looking to take it. Is it Tom Connolly again?
Do the Mikey Kiley in the Fitzgibbon Cup semi-final, just kind of aim for the crossbar.
Yeah, you probably do have to do that. It's a difficult one to do, and he's just knocked it over when they're 5 down. They still have to get 4 more.
Well, I'm sure he asked how long is left.
Well, I'll tell you, if the whistle goes within the next minute, that's going to be seen as a bit of a mistake, because there's still 4 behind. Maybe he's not quite sure to score himself.
Tracy. Rush is waiting. Doesn't have too long to wait to get into another semi-final. Curry. Squirts loose. Falls kindly for Na Fianna. Feeney fed it back to Ryan. Diarmuid Clerkin has a runner inside. That's Curry. Picked up smartly by Baxter. And it's a 5-point game again. Good finish by Baxter.
Yeah, we weren't sure why he didn't start, because he has been a very good player for Na Fianna anytime I've seen him in the last couple of years, but nice little score there, and a bit of patience to work the ball around from Na Fianna, and they're certainly going to get their way through at this stage. 5 points up.
It's heartbreaking for Vincents. They've had chances, and one wonders what might have happened if Heatherton wasn't sent off. Na Fianna, they'll need an improvement performance-wise and score-taking-wise if they're to get through their semi-final, or to have any chance of getting through their semi-final. But the most important thing from their point of view is that they are going to be there.
Yeah, well, I suppose the thing that their management can say is, you know, what sort of a trajectory is this team on this year? We started poorly, we've done well here, we've weathered a big storm from St. Vincent's, plus we've a lot to work on.
Yeah, it's nice to get to a semi-final and still hit your peak.
Yeah, and I mean, Sean Ryan has come on and done well, so has Sean Baxter. They're probably building that panel more and more. The 2 Currys have been really good here today.
Yep.
AJ Murphy's had some good moments. Donald Burke, he hasn't always struck his balls well today, but in general he's contributed quite well. And even we also talked about Fergal Brannock coming in and making an impact, so their panel is building.
Here's a man who's done well. Micheál Murphy got the pass away. That is that. Na Fianna march on to the semi-finals. Unfortunately for St. Vincent's, they go out 119 to 17 points, the final score. Is that a fair reflection of it, Shane Stapleton?
Na Fianna definitely have created enough today to be putting at least 119 on the board. St. Vincent's will be frustrated that they haven't won this game. Oisín Lanigan had a great chance for a goal in the first half. Second half, there's a penalty. Okay, it was a small bit soft from my point of view. Not everyone will agree with that, but it wasn't a well-struck penalty from John Heatherton. They moved him out the field, having done so well in the full forward line and given Liam Rush a pretty tired time anytime decent ball went in front. He was moved out the field, out to centre forward, ends up getting a second yellow card, and he's gone, and that kind of took the game away from St. Vincent's. So they'll be hugely frustrated themselves, the opportunities they've had, and obviously the scores are going to start coming up here now from the second half. But Vincent should be kicking themselves with the way this game has gone. But look, Na Fianna, they're building throughout this season now. Maybe Rush will come back out to centre back for the semi-final, whether it's Coola or whether it's Kilmacud Crokes. Maybe they'll have a real crack off this just yet.
Let's have a look at the highlights of the second half. Much better viewing for Na Fianna than it was for St. Vincent's. McHugh getting the ball to Barrett, who went off injured. Let's hope for Na Fianna he's okay for the semis.
Yeah, he'll need to be right for the semi-final. They'll need everything, whether it's against Coola or Crokes. And there's Sean Curry. His ability to feed in good ball is just so important for Na Fianna.
AJ Murphy getting inside.
And we talked about Vincents having goal chances. Certainly Na Fianna had a few as well, and they only managed to bury one over the course of the game, but that'll have to improve in the semi.
And we will be back live for the semis in a couple of weeks' time, unless of course they're on RTE or TG Car. Either way, you'll be able to watch the Go Ahead Dublin Hurling Championship semi-finals, and we'll find out who will be playing whom with the draw coming up in a few moments.
And that just shows you there the value of the cynical foul at times. As long as the rule book allows it to be rewarded, you'll keep doing it, because I'll tell you, any defender around him, any teammate will be screaming, take him down. It's just, that's the way the rule is, and you're gonna have to take those fouls when you need to.
Whether or not that should be the rule is a debate for another day. Here's Colin Curry.
Yeah, great
Good
save. Yeah, fantastic, and presence of mind to get out of there as well. I think it was given a 65, but he didn't put his team back in trouble really. There's Heatherton close to goal doing damage. Why you take him away from there, I just do not know.
Shane Barrett. McBride had the runner inside. What a block that was from Micheál Murphy.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there. That's a huge moment in the game. And this was a fabulous score from Brannock, who came on, and like I said, the subs made a big impact for Na Fianna, and he was one of them.
Fantastic score from him.
Yeah, a huge moment. Like Derek McBride, he just made a huge impact over the course of the game today.
Here's the penalty incident. I'm sure Sean Burke will argue that it shouldn't have been a free, but he did leave his hand on the shoulder, and you're just inviting the referee to make that call. Luckily for him, Tracy made the save.
Yeah, he just put it exactly where the goalkeeper would want it, really. And that's where your hurley naturally is when you're diving as a right-handed player to your left-hand side. That's exactly where the hurley is. So it's not great from Heatherton really in that particular instance. But again, I still don't see it as a penalty. I don't think there was enough contact. It's a physical game. It's war out there, and a little tickle, and it's a tickle rather than a tackle. And he's given a penalty for it. And
for health and safety reasons, I hope you never become a referee.
Peter Feeney had quite a good game. He was involved in a lot of big moments. And here's the second card. Is it a second yellow? No. I mean, for me, there's not enough in that, and I don't like criticising referees too much, but I see it as a physical game. Now and again you're going to take a dunt. Everyone knows what happens when you're out there, but I don't think there was quite enough, and it helped to decide the game. And
just to clarify, that wasn't a straight red, it was a second yellow.
And look, on the left hand side, that's when you had Baxter going straight through for goal.
Well, actually, he had picked up a yellow. I saw the red, I didn't see if he'd flashed a yellow, so I'm not entirely.
We're assuming. Yeah. And this easily could have ended up in a goal. It's good work from, I think was it Fenlon and McHugh back there.
Yep.
Put the bodies on the line, and look, I don't blame for Ryan McBride for having a swing in there, because if he connected with the ball, you're looking at, I think it would have been a level game at that stage. And this is a killer. I mean,
is that a free?
Yeah, well look, it probably is, but I think that McBride maybe could have had a free himself before that happened. And it's great from Na Fianna's point of view that if Donald Burke isn't on fire with the frees, that they do have Colin Curry to take over, because he seems fairly nervous. I mean, again, look, if you look at the free a minute ago from McBride and that one there from Sweeney, these are needless scores that
there wasn't much in that, was there?
But they're handy scores, they're needless scores. No, they haven't had to work too hard to get them, and that's a killer for Vincents. You have to credit this man for running in here, and
McHugh just unceremoniously upending James Mulcahy.
Yeah. And then look, it just bounced way too soon. Austin Gleeson had one of those for Mount Sion against Ballygunner recently as well, and he can't hit the turf that far away from the goal. Sean Ryan is a big ignorant joke, as we'd say on a Tipperary, and I mean that in a positive sense, and managed to feed the ball out lovely to Burke, and what a score.
And in the end, Vincents were chasing it and never looked like reeling it in.
They didn't really, and look, carried the ball upfield there. That was a nice little, not the most orthodox hand pass from Clerkin, but
Baxter with the last score of the game. So Na Fianna, well, I was going to say Na Fianna celebrating, but as you can see, they're not. They're glad, but they know that they're going to have to up it for the semi-final. But that's okay. They haven't peaked yet, but they've had a lot of injuries, and of course they had to recover from the way they lost last year. But what a way to recover, to get back or to get close to it. And they're close to it, and they'll want to get back, and they still have a chance. We'll find out who they're playing in the semi-final very, very soon, because we've got the draw coming up not only for Senior 1 but also Senior 2 and Senior 3. We will end it though on the full-time scoreline of 119 to 17 points. St Vincent's out, Na Fianna go on. And stay with us on Dubs TV because we'll have the draw very soon. Remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and everything that we're doing will pop up automatically. And of course, you can check everything else out across the website and all of our usual social media channels. Shane Stapleton for now. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Stay on if you want to check out who gets who in the semi-finals of all three senior competitions. The draw coming up in a few moments.